Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike from M&R Automotive. Today we have a 2024 and up Ford Ranger, and we're installing the M&R ditch light kit in either the standard or the Pro pods. Let me show you what you get with the M&R kit. You get a choice of either the standard or the Pro Series ditch lights, metal brackets, and you get a wiring harness. Let me show you how to assemble the lights. Alright, so let's start with the standard lights. On the side of the lights there's two holes. There's a large one in the center and a smaller one that pivots the bracket on the back. And there's a U-cradle. We're going to slide the U-cradle with a slot towards the back and the center towards the larger hole. We're going to slide it in and use the supplied hardware to secure it. So a larger bolt goes towards the center of the light and a smaller one goes right behind it. So let's go ahead and tighten it. And we'll do the same thing on the opposite end. Same thing, the larger bolt goes towards the center and the smaller one goes right behind it. Perfect. So now the U-cradle is attached to the pod. Alright, so now let's do the same thing for the Pro. So when you turn it over, you can see there's two little pockets here. Those pockets are designed to hold a nut. So the coned part of the nut is supposed to go towards the center of the light. So we're going to drop it in. That's one, and we're going to drop it in on this side as well. So now we have the U-cradle. So the U-cradle goes right through on the bottom, and notice that the slots of the cradle are pointing towards the front of the light. So we're going to slide it in, and we're going to use supplied hardware to tighten it. So you're actually tightening into those nuts that you just dropped into the pockets. With the kit, you're going to receive a set of brackets. You get a driver and a passenger side identified with a DNP. I want to show you how the driver side bracket is going to sit. There's a small oval, and that's going to reuse the factory bolt that we're going to remove in this area. And there's a slot here, which is going to be the mount for our pod. If you lift up on this rubber trim, it exposes a bolt, and it's a 10mm bolt that we're going to reuse when we install our bracket. So I'm going to remove the factory bolt, take the driver's side bracket, and notice that the slot of the place of attachment for our pod is going to be facing towards the windshield, so it's going to go towards the back. We're going to rethread the factory bolt through the small oval hole, and we're going to reinstall it. With that bolt fully tightened, we can tuck in the rubber trim back underneath the bracket. So press it firmly just to put it all the way down. Also, I want to point out that you have plenty of space between the metal bracket and the windshield. So on the driver's side, I'm going to show you guys how to install the Pro Series light bar. So with using the supplied hardware, thread the bolt through the U-cradle, and we're going to mount it on our bracket. Before we do the final tie down, you get to choose whether you want your ditch light to face straight forward or if you want them a little bit angled to the sides. Using just two 13mm wrenches to tighten the bolt and nut. Perfect, so we'll finish on the driver's side. Let's do the same thing on the passenger side. We're going to lift up on this rubber trim. We're going to expose that bolt and we're going to remove it. It's a 10mm socket. Thread that bolt through the oval part of the bracket. The slot is going to be facing towards the back of the truck, and we're going to reinstall it. We're going to tuck the trim piece under and press down on it so that way it goes around the bracket. And now we're going to press on the rubber trim so that way it goes around the bracket. On the passenger side, I'm going to show you guys how to install the standard ditch light. Using the supplied hardware, we're going to thread the hardware through the U-cradle. Now we're going to secure it using a nut from the bottom. With two 13mm wrenches, you get to tighten it down. And before you do the final tie down, you get to choose at what angle you want your ditch lights to be, whether you want it facing forward or you want them a little bit off to the side. So I like mine facing forward, so I'm going to tighten them like this. And every time we install a ditch light kit, we like to do two different tests. Test number one would be to open the hood, making sure that the hood does not touch the ditch lights. You can see that there's still space in between the hood and the light itself, so that's not an issue. The second test we like to do is to ensure that the windshield wipers are not hitting the light pods when they're actually moving. You can see that they're not interfering, they're not touching the pods, and they're fully free. Your ditch light kit is going to come with a wiring harness in order to bridge the two lights together and get them to a power source. You're going to receive two separate grounding straps, one for each side. And you're going to receive the main harness. One end of the wiring harness that's going to get stretched out to the passenger side. The Y split of the harness, that's going to be on the driver's side, and the main reason we chose that is that's where we're going to get the power source. So after the Y split goes to the driver's side, the remaining end of the harness gets connected to a power source. All right, I want to show you guys with the wiring of the pods. I actually want to run them behind this brace. The reason being is that this hinge goes up and down, so you want to make sure there's no pinch point for your wire. So when I'm routing it, I'm going to go behind this brace, and we're going to zip tie to it, so that way when the hinge goes up and down, it's going to go to the side of the wire, not on top of it. Yeah. And we're going to use a zip tie, so that way it's nicely tucked away and doesn't move. So now we can review the colors of the 3 wires that each pod has. Whether you go with the Slim or the Pro, it's identical wiring. The red wire is the power to the main function of the light. In this case, it's going to be the power for white light. The black wire is the ground. And the white wire, that's the power source for the amber daytime running lights. It's the low intensity amber. We're just going to connect the same wire colors. So there's 2 strands on the harness, red and white. So we're going to go red to red and white to white. So I'm going to take the red cable. I'm going to connect it to the red crimp. And I'm going to crimp it. Sometimes I like to crimp it twice to make sure that I have a nice crimp, so that way the wires don't come out. Pull on it, and I'm going to do the same thing for the white cable and connect it to the white part of the harness. And I'm going to give it a second crimp and tug on it to make sure I have a good connection. For the black cable, I'm going to use a grounding strap that's also provided with your harness. There's 2 separate individual ones, one for the driver's side and one for the passenger. Comes with an eyelid that goes on the truck and the crimp connector that crimps to the pod. Perfect. In terms of a good grounding location, they do have nice bolts here that go directly to the frame of the chassis. We can use those. It's an 8mm bolt. I'm going to remove it, thread it through the eyelid, and put it back. We're going to thread that through the eyelid and reinstall it. Awesome. So we have a power to the red wire, a white wire, and this side is grounded. Let's do the same thing on the passenger side. I'm going to take one of the ends and I'm going to extend it to our passenger side. For the standard lights, the wire that comes out of the pod is a little bit shorter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually extend the actual harness wire under this brace, and I'm going to crimp it here. And it's the same color scheme, red to red, white to white, and black to black. So I'm going to take the red cable from the pod. We're going to crimp it to the red cable of the wiring harness. Crimp it twice. The white cable, that's going to be our amber DRL, is going to go to the white wire of the harness. And for the black wire, we're going to use the grounding strap. So now I'm going to pull on this to get this back into the engine bay, and we're going to zip tie it to this pillar. We're going to use this bolt as our ground. It's also 8mm. Thread that same bolt through our eyelid and reinstall it. The other end of the wiring harness needs to be provided with 2 power sources. If your vehicle is equipped with factory auxiliary switches, you just connect these 2 wires to 2 different switches to control the 2 different functions of the ditch light kit. If your vehicle is not equipped with factory auxiliary switches, such as the one we're working on now, instead, we're going to use the M&R wireless controller. This is going to allow us to give it power wirelessly without running any wires through the firewall, making your installation super easy. So let me show you what you get with the wireless 2.0 kit. 2 power cables, a ground cable, the ACC wire, some terminal contacts and mounting hardware, M&R remote, 100 amp fuse, the actual module, mounting zip ties. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, let's open up the module. So we're going to take out these 4 Allen screws. So now we can take off the cover. Looking at this module, you have a couple things you want to notice. There's a positive terminal. There is a negative terminal. You have 8 different circuits, and they're all labeled here with auxiliary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, with appropriate amp fuses. And you also get 3 trigger wires. If you choose to use the ACC wire, you would plug it in onto the first terminal here. ACC, all it does is when you get ignition, it'll turn on, it'll wake up the unit if it goes into sleep mode. We actually don't use it. The unit wakes up on its own if it feels your battery's fully charged. So the ACC wire, this one's optional. So let me show you how to assemble the fuse, and we're going to connect that to the positive terminal. So you have two terminals. You have one that goes towards the battery, you have one that goes towards the module, and there's a brake button in here. So if you press this button, it actually disengages power going through it. So I like to actually reset it and then turn it on towards the end of our install. So reset, and let's connect the two power terminals. So one of them is labeled BAT. That's going to be the one that goes towards the battery. So I'm going to take one of the power cables. I'm going to slide it under this nut, and I'm going to tighten it. So the side that says BAT here, that's going to go towards the battery. On the second side, it says AUX, load. So this is the side that you want towards your module. So same thing, I'm going to loosen it. I'm going to slide the terminal underneath the nut, and I'm going to tighten it. So the side where it says load, we're going to connect this terminal onto the positive terminal of the module. So I'm going to slide it underneath. The main reason you want to slide it underneath here is because there's going to be a cover on top. We're going to loosen the BAT positive terminal, and we're going to put this wire with a fork under this bolt. So now I'm going to tighten it. So now we have a power to the cable. This end is going to be connected to the positive terminal of the battery. We're going to do the same thing with a ground, which is the thin wire. And this ground only operates the module, so you cannot connect other grounds to it like your light bar accessories. We're going to take this, slide it under as well. We're going to loosen this terminal, and we're going to tighten it. So now we have assembled a power, ground, and an inline fuse. Just a reminder, after you have everything connected to the battery, positive and negative terminal, unless you put the switch in line, there's not going to be any power going through it. So this is the off position, and this is the on position. So now we can go ahead and install this on the truck. So now we're in the engine bay. We're going to connect the module to a power and ground to the battery and secure it. One common question that we get is where you actually secure the module. You want to secure it to any stationary point. One of the spots that I noticed you can use for nice mounting would be the battery tray. The module comes with zip ties, and you can secure it using the sides. You know, certain things that you want to avoid would be any moving parts or anything that gets super hot. Around the battery tray, you wouldn't have any issues. Another method is securing the box to the top of the fuse box cover. You can remove the fuse box cover, secure it using two provided bolts. The only thing we have to do is cut the bolts off after we secured it, so that way they don't interfere with any of the fuses inside the fuse box. Go ahead and secure it back into the fuse box. Click it back in. It's nice and stationary. And we're going to connect a power and ground. So for the power, there is a fuse here, and when this fuse is in line, that means there's power going to it. Whenever I'm connecting something to the battery, I like to actually break the fuse, so that way there's going to be power in this part, but it's going to break here, and nothing's going to be going here unless you switch the power back on. So I'm going to break the power and connect my positive. So we're going to go ahead and use one of the positive terminals on the battery. We're going to loosen it and slide the positive red wire onto the terminal. Make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, so we're good with the positive. Now we're going to do the same thing with the ground. The ground is the thin black cable. Take a look at the wiring harness. These have crimp connectors because they're designed to work with factory auxiliary switches. Because we're not using auxiliary switches and we're using the module, we just have to remove them. So I'm going to remove the connectors and strip the wires. So now we have to connect these two wires to the two different terminals. I'm going to slide the wiring underneath into that slot, and the main reason I'm going to do that is because there's going to be a cover on top, so it's going to come in the way. So we're going to use the red wire, that's the powerful white light, and we're going to go ahead and install it on terminal 1. So I'm just going to unscrew it, get the wire in there, and tighten that bolt. And then you choose a different channel for your amber DRL. So for example, I'll choose channel number 5. Unscrew it, insert it, and tighten it. Don't forget to zip tie all this wiring. I like to follow factory wires and just zip tie my wiring to it to make it nice and neat. As far as the circuit breaker, you can just secure it using zip ties to the wiring harness around the battery tray. Also, all crimp connectors that we use, these are shrink crimp connectors. You want to apply heat to them so that way they can shrivel up and become watertight. Let me show you the standard pods. With switch number 1, you get the powerful white off-road light, and with switch number 5, you get the amber DRL, daytime running lights, which are the low intensity amber strips on the sides that you can drive around town with. And here's the Pro Series light. With one switch, you get the powerful white light, and with another switch, you get the amber backglow. You don't have the 2 amber strips on the sides. Every LED is backlit. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got the confidence that you need to install this product yourself. I know you guys are going to absolutely love it. And please check out our light output video so that way you guys can see exactly how much additional light you get on the road with this product.